But their story didn't end there.
How could there have been only one?
And he's back in business.
Is the worst idea in history of bad ideas.
Part 2 is the final chapter in the violent history.
This time, it's personal.
Of all the familiar sounds of Christmas, surely this one is the most beloved. Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
My family's in Florida and I'm in New York.
Funnily enough, we never lose our luggage.
Once again, the family that loves staying together.
Can I help you? Reservation for McAllister?
Couldn't be further apart.
He's in New York.
New York? This is a vacation.
Only two things could ruin this vacation. And they just hit town.
Hiya, pal.
Yes!
Stop that child! Bandit! Where'd he go?
I'm up here. Come and get me.
You gotta do better than this, kid.
Don't you know a kid always wins against two idiots?
Oops.
You guys give up? Have you had enough pain?
Never!
What kind of idiots do you have working here?
The finest in New York.
Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
You wearing aftershave?
That's kerosene.
Now why would anybody soak a rope in kerosene?
Merry Christmas.
Can you imagine if we did a live watch along?
We did the first couple of episodes.
That's true. Do you remember the first couple episodes of Ren the Sequel? We would just recap the movie.
We would just recap,
from
yeah.
start, and then this happens. Oh, and then this happens,
And then it was equally as long as the movie,
yeah.
so you might as well.
You know, the funny thing is, like, you should be recording for this because, like,
I am.
Sometimes this still happens. Like, if we don't have a whole lot to say, like, production wise, we still just talk
recap
about
them.
Yeah,
and then we're like, they watched it. What are we doing? It's like, no, I don't believe that happened. Okay. If you like being home, being alone, New York City, heartbroken pigeon ladies, stealing from sick kids, credit card fraud, unaccompanied minors, chewing gum tips, bowling balls in the face. Oh, that didn't happen in this movie.
The smell of fish.
The smell of fish, bricks in the head, toilets full of kerosene, nail guns, being electrocuted until you're only a skeleton, the sound of a tool chest falling down the stairs, and finally, if you like cameos by disgraced one-term former presidents, you're going to like the movie we're talking about this week for our holiday sequel. Wait, what are we calling it? Santa's sequels? We got a name?
I don't know. I don't think we have a name yet. But.
Ho, ho, ho. our holiday sequels. We're talking Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, the sequel to Home Alone. My name's Emmanuel.
Hey, I am Andrew.
Hey, it's John.
And we are
Live
in person.
Jinx.
Yeah, that was worse than if we did it on Zoom, actually.
Yeah,
syncing
just we would have just glitched.
Just garbled up. Yeah.
But we're all safe. We Lysol'd up. We masked up when we got here. We got tested.
Lubed up.
That was only you, Andrew. I don't know why you got lubed up.
You gave me petroleum.
Listen, I wanted you to slide off D's Christmas nuts because it's the holidays and mistletoe are the nuts of Christmas. Or wait,
there's also chestnuts.
Yeah.
I was like, I think chestnuts are the nuts of.
Oh yeah. Okay, never
Christmas
mind.
Or winter holiday or
mistletoe,
whatever you want to say.
That's true. What is the thing? We can't say Christmas. Holiday.
Right.
What winter holiday?
End of year.
Well, and then it's not winter in the other.
That's true.
I don't even know what to say.
December.
I don't know what to say.
If you recognize the month's December. But yeah, and we're excited. I think we've already talked about Batman Returns.
Batman Returns, yeah, and we got a slew of other podcasts we have yet to record.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about we're gonna talk about this movie, Home Alone 2. then we're going to do a fun game that I've organized, and then we're going to crown our Spirit of Christmas Award to one of the characters from this movie. All that is happening, but I just want to talk a little bit about Home Alone first.
Yeah.
What did y'all think of the first Home Alone? Maybe just as a franchise. I know there's more than just 2 Home Alones.
Yeah.
But what do y'all enjoy them, or did you watch them a lot when you were younger?
So yeah, I think Home Alone is the franchise, or at least the first 2 really are movies I've known about since I was like a kid. It's one of those like Christmas classic movies that my family would always put on. My mom and my aunts basically kind of love this movie, so it's kind of like they rewatch this all the time, in other words. And I've always known about them. They're really fun, comedic flicks. Right now they're kind of aging a little weird because of the times we're in and the way and even then, like, they're very high in a non I guess like in a non-PC way, I guess, because like they're...
Whoa, here we go.
No, it's just because of the way...
is off.
I'm talking about just the concept.
John was like, Scarlett Johansson was in the third one.
No, I'm just like, the concept of it is still kind of... It's just ridiculous by today's standards. Like, it's a high concept 90s film. Nowadays you have... Everybody has cell phones. Everyone has like, FaceTime and stuff like that. So like no one's truly basically
Lost.
alone. Yeah.
No one's ever home.
Hey,
no one's ever alone.
Yeah.
And where are you at?
But the way, the goofiness and the slapstick comedy that happens whenever the film kicks into gear is it's classic. It's an old
it's
a Christmas classic. Really.
It's kind of cemented in that time, definitely, because now watching it, I was like, oh, I understand exactly what's going on, but it does feel like the 90s. And I can imagine if you're watching with your kids, they're not going to know why that kid went on that plane so easily.
Right. Yeah.
They're going to be like, what is that? And you're like, oh, that's how they used to basically get your credit card info.
Oh,
the little slidey thing.
That's the crash kit. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is what cash looks like.
Yeah, exactly.
But Andrew, were you a Home Alone were you a Home Aloner?
Yeah. I used to get a Home Aloner for this movie a lot. No, I'm just kidding. It's like what John said. I mean, we grew up together, and my mom and my aunts were primarily our caretakers, and while my dad was at work and stuff like that, and so they would put this on because I think they like the physical comedy of like. Three Stooges, like, because when it gets to a certain point in this movie, it just becomes all camp.
Oh yeah.
So at some point, it's got the story, and you're like, okay, he's lost, and this is what he's doing. Whatever. And so, but after a while, as soon as like it starts to get into the hijinks, it's very, again, slapsticky type of stuff. And so, I think my mom and my aunts love stuff like that, where it was hilarious. Some bad guy getting hit over the head, or Tom and Jerry-esque antics kind of end up ensuing. And so, it was one of these movies that we watched a lot growing up in my house.
Yeah, if you take a step back, then you're like, oh my gosh, this kid's alone and people are trying to kill him. But then you really do enjoy, I think you brought up Tom and Jerry. That's perfect. Like, they're supposed to be hurt. So it's funny as hell. And I think also they're really good at the timing of the comedy. In this movie, specifically Home Alone 2, there's the bricks off the roof scene and he keeps getting hit over and over again. And that is so funny, even though that guy would probably be dead.
Yeah, well, and there's multiple instances where they should be dead. The electrocution or the bricks. Or even lighting on fire and blowing up.
I think the Mythbusters did this once. Did all of the Home Alone pranks.
R.I.P. Grant Imahara.
Oh, yes. But then they realized that, that guy would have died if we did all the Home Alone things. And then as I grow older, when I think of Home Alone, as a kid, I was like, oh, those are good pranks. Those are good pranks. But now older, I'm like, pranks are like funny things that you like whoopee cushions. These are, I think, death traps.
Yeah, this is like self-defense in a way.
In the first one, he straight up puts a nail on the black paper, remember? Yep. And it like goes directly through his foot. And I was like, oh.
He's killing them.
Yeah, basically.
And then this movie, there's a nail gun, which reminds me, this is the second movie this year where we have nail gun.
It's a staple gun.
Staple gun, because Final Fantasy also has like...
Final Fantasy or Final Destination?
No, Final Fantasy. The Alec Baldwin movie. No, the Final Destination also had like the same elements of this film. Wait a minute.
Were you
is Kevin death?
were you getting flashbacks when you were watching the scene? You're like, oh my god, the guy's about to die.
I know. It's like all these things are happening, and this all happened in
the ass. Like,
we should have watched this movie during Halloween month. Maybe.
Yeah, I know.
Well, let's talk about Home Alone 2. This movie is a sequel. Spoiler alert. But this movie, I think, leans into it in an insane way. The first movie was a success. Almost a surprise success.
Yeah.
The studio kept cutting the budget. They ended up filming in an old high school. There were all kinds of stories of how that movie wasn't supposed to be made, but ended up being so successful box office wise and with critics that they streamlined this movie. This movie came out
like a year later,
very quickly after the first one. But this movie is super aware of it. There are moments where they lean into the fact that they left Kevin in the first movie alone a couple times, and they keep checking on him, or they wake up late and they're like, again, or they look at the front seat and Kevin wasn't there in the first movie, but now he's there in the second one. But what did y'all think of Home Alone 2? Lost in New York.
Electric Boogaloo.
I was about to say that.
I mean, and granted, I try to watch this movie at least once a year because I am one. Again, I think I said it in the Halloween one, where I am one of those people who kind of uses movies as a tool throughout the year to either cook up some nostalgia or just get into the holiday spirit altogether. And so this is one of those movies where I do try to watch every year, but sometimes it's not streaming.
What is your Easter tradition?
My Easter?
Passion of the Christ?
Yeah, I was going to say...
on repeat?
Noah. I'm just kidding. I don't know. What? I don't know. Something to do with religion.
Veggie Tales.
And Noah. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, and so this one is watching it this time. It's pretty cool because obviously, I'm the oldest I've ever been, and you'd like to think that
that's such a good line.
I'm the oldest I've ever been, and so it's
right now.
Yeah,
at this moment.
Yeah, well, and you just keep getting older. Like
well, and like you assume that you get smarter.
Yeah,
and so you're at the smartest that you've ever been.
Yeah,
and so and to be able to digest it like today, it's pretty different than digesting it as a kid and just laughing at the antics and stuff like that. Right off the bat, I noticed that I was like, holy shit, this is a pretty badass cast with Stern and Pesci, and then you have Rob Schneider and Curry, and I was like, holy
Catherine O'Hara.
Yeah, exactly. Schitt's Creek. And so it's I mean, even the Culkins, you get one of them who's Wallace, was it Kieran Culkin? He's also on Showtime. Yeah,
Succession's really good.
And so, in the big time, then Macaulay, which is just an all-around funny guy. I think it's cool because he shied away from the Hollywood thing because of this movie. He he's reclusive during Christmas. You can't find him.
Yeah.
It's really, really funny still and really, really cool. And again, it is some questionable themes at some point.
Yeah. Oh boy.
But some of them haven't aged as well. Seeing Donald Trump in the lobby and his trunks coming off in front of a bunch of adults in a pool, and you're like, ugh, this is not exactly has aged as well.
But that plays into his character of like, oh, he's a really resourceful and smart. He's like an adult.
And I guess that one is
even though you're like,
he's little. Like, look at him. He fell out of his trunks. He's that little. He's still a kid.
He's good at tricking people. There were a lot of movies like that that came out after this, like super smart, resourceful kid. Do you remember Blank Check? There's all these movies of where
Problem Child.
A kid is like now
good son.
He's tricking all these. What?
I was kidding. Macaulay Culkin's in there though.
But John, what did you think about Home Alone 2?
Watching it now is kind of you notice things that you didn't notice as a kid. Not that it makes it a different experience because overall it's still a fun, like very slapsticky,
enjoyable,
cartoony movie, and it's it's made for families and stuff. It's just again, it's a really funny movie. There is some parts that are kind of like funnier than the others. I think the main part, like where all the laughs come from, is the actual sequence. Where
that's what you want.
Yeah, where the sequence where the
booby traps.
Yeah, the booby traps are basically
Sticky Bandits v. Kevin McAllister.
Yeah, and so you see their head being burnt on. It's on fire. Like Joe Pesci's head is on fire, which is really funny.
I was telling John, I was like, he really did that stunt.
I think the stunt, the funniest stunt to me in the movie is when it switches to a stunt double because he puts himself over the toilet.
Yeah,
and that guy has the best arm strength because the handstand that he does is like.
Joe Pesci would be able to do that. But
that's kind of what makes this movie so nostalgic for me is there's many moments like that. There's a moment where all of the hotel staff try to stop him, and then they're obviously stunt doubles like crashing into each other.
Yeah.
But for me, that's good, and that to me reminds me of like, hey, we made really good movies before you had to CGI everything.
Yeah.
Because now they would have spent the $1 million to slap someone's face on
someone else. Yeah,
dude.
Like, they would have had to have shot that like 4 or 5 times with mocap suits.
There would be no question. There would be like people, and then there would be a serious producer to be like, I don't know if people are going to believe it if we don't CGI someone's face on it.
Right.
And I was like, we believed it and friggin'.
It is, but overall the movie is like, it's still fun to watch especially around Christmas time. I feel like, this is one of those, like, if you are going to, like the way Drew said, like if you're going to try to hype yourself up into the season, this and Christmas Vacation or something like that.
Nobody does Christmas like New York City.
Well, and even some of like the songs, like I remember gaining my love for Christmas music through these movies. Because in the first one, and also the Christmas carols. I'm talking like you remember there's the Jingle Bell Rock sequence in the first one, and so Jingle Bell Rock was one of my favorite Christmas songs.
This is that Tom Petty Christmas song in this one,
a couple of bangers in this one too, and so
Christmas bangers,
and so I love it, and it's just really crazy again just to be able to intake it all. Now, except rather than being a kid,
it's an incredibly and this is maybe who knows, because we haven't recorded the other ones. This is probably one of the most Christmassy movies of all of the others that we may talk about, because even the themes of this movie, and I mean the characters and
like we follow the North Star in this sequence.
Literally follow the North Star, and you end up at Rockefeller Center's Christmas tree, which is uber Christmas. Mm-hmm. But also there's the story of not forgetting, and then also wanting to be with your family. Like it's all Christmas all day. Yeah. Like Batman Returns, that we talked about, it happens during Christmas, but it's not like we're talking about Jesus.
I think even
the reason for the season. You can continue.
Christ must. It's more Christ.
The Starbucks red cups bring the angels back. I don't know.
And let me tell you something about the war.
On Christmas?
No.
On this winter holiday movie.
Oh, shit. Oh, man, I was just so triggered. Oh, I'm going to drive around with this flag in my car.
I totally forgot what I was going to say. It's over.
Oh, sorry. I derailed you.
No, it was good, though.
It was good?
No, not that. No, the banter was good.
But no, but this movie is in its soul a Christmas movie, and I feel like a lot of it is... The first movie, well, whatever. This movie is really good.
Oh, well, no, it's back again. I got it.
Okay.
And he even wants to avoid going to Florida because it's more Christmas to be in the snow and to be in the cold setting and stuff like that. So I think it's funny because he even actually, criticizes their choice. And then they end up staying at some shitty motel.
Yeah. But hey, Christmas morning, not too shabby, huh? Because there is this element of this movie that is... In the first movie, it was about him basically getting his Twilight Zone wish of being alone without a family and wanting his family. And this one was kind of about, not being forgotten. And there's also this but this other string where he meets someone who's homeless, who has given up on love, and everyone's been mean to her. And he gives her hope, out of the mouths of babes wisdom when he tells her, hey, it's just like my shoes.
Yeah.
I get new ones. And she's like, oh, I'm going to do that in my life now.
Yeah, and it's also like, I think Kevin in this one, in order to stop, I think he was kind of more or less defending himself and, situational wise in the first movie because, they just came to rob this big house because he lives in a giant, almost boarding house.
Let's be honest, they're rich.
You're rich, yeah. And that's why the ending of this movie is kind of weird and it hasn't aged too well, but we'll get to there. I do like the way that Kevin in this one is kind of compelled to stop the robbers because they're going to rob a toy store.
Yes.
And the toy store is
like using his superpowers for good.
Right, yeah, because, he meets the owner of this toy store and this toy store donates all these proceeds to the children's hospital. Ideally, no one does it in real life.
It's like Santikos.
But it is really cool that Kevin wants to do that. Like he's trying to stop the robbers because of that, and that is a very Christmas Christmassy theme.
Well, and it's even like they even up the ante where it's like they could be robbing banks or they could be robbing this and that, and then they're like, no, we're gonna rob a fucking toy store.
And then remember, Kevin sees that sick kid in the window, and they wave at each other.
Yeah, I forgot about that part.
I'm doing this for you, bro.
Literally robbing Santa.
Yeah,
basically, like let me grab Santa's toy shop. And,
it is, and I think that's the part of this that is hidden because now he is doing it for other people. His weird skill.
He's basically Batman.
He is.
Yeah,
he is Batman.
Yeah,
and I think and that's I think where he doesn't come back for another one, right? This is the height of Home Alone.
And John Hughes did write Home Alone 3, I think,
with different people.
Alex D. Lynn.
Interesting. Maybe next year we'll talk about that one. Maybe, but this I feel like is you get everything that you liked from the first Home Alone movie. Obviously, he's left somewhere, not home, not alone. But then you get the sequences that you really enjoyed, especially in that final booby trap sequence with the two robbers. But then you get like him tricking people with shadow puppets, like the first movie, Tim Curry in this case, and then using the VHS tape again to scare people and think they're being shot up. Like it's all of they're not tropes. They're just the signatures of Home Alone.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Shazam uses that movie in their movie.
That's so funny
because it's a Christmas movie.
Fake movie. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They filmed it for this one, but also it's kind of violent. He he kills that girl and then he keeps shooting.
Well, that's the whole thing. Is he's not?
He shoots her like 2 more times.
He's not allowed to watch these rated R movies. Then he watches them, and instead of watching something crazy, he watches like some old 50s black and white horror movie and content.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy because what'd you say? I mean, Chris Columbus has directed lots of movies.
Harry Potter,
more other, and then he's also written
another Christmas movie. Maybe
he wrote Gremlins. Gremlins is a Christmas movie. Like he wrote the original Gremlins.
Did he make? No, I don't want to say. Wait, did he make Jungle Book?
No, that was Jon Favreau, honey.
Not Jungle Book. Sorry, Jumanji, the first one.
No, that was Joe Johnston.
Okay. All right. I'm out.
But Chris Columbus is, I think, what was his latest movie was, one of his latest movies was Pixels with Adam Sandler.
Everybody's working for the week. I can't believe that is the cinematic debut of Donkey Kong. I fucking hate this.
Do you remember when somebody has sex with Miss Pac-Man?
Oh, in that one?
Yeah.
Is it true?
Did you watch the porn parody?
They have babies.
It's not that. It's like it's a different.
That's in Wreck-It Ralph.
No. That's not Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It Ralph fucks Pac-Man.
No one fucks. Pac-Man. It's not Miss Pac-Man in that movie. A character does fuck like a video game character though.
It's not Pac-Man. No.
It's the bird from Flappy Bird.
No. Okay, hold on.
It's Doodle Jump.
Let us know who gets fucked in Pixels.
I think
slide into our DMs.
It's the little thing from Cut the Rope.
Yeah. What is it? They have a name.
Kidding. Made it up.
Yeah, no.
Pikmin.
Anyway, Home Alone 2. Everything. This movie, like I think Tim Curry is just hilarious. Like if we're just gonna go ahead and just talk about the cast, like
Tim Curry funny.
Tim Curry's fucking awesome in this movie. He's playing like a very like mean British butler type of like person, and it's awesome.
Looking back at it as an adult, you're like he's actually doing his job.
Definitely.
Like, he's like, there's a kid unaccompanied coming into this hotel with a credit card.
He gets criticized for his character. Later in the movie, they're like, "You just let him go."
Well, I
scared him off.
Yeah, you lost the fucking kid.
I was trying to catch him for you.
You're saying he was doing a good job up until he was doing a bad job.
That's true. But here's and maybe this is what you were talking to about the things that don't age. This is maybe going too far, but it really villainizes a lot of the working class people in the hotel, and then kind of makes the really rich owner of the toy store like a saint in a weird way.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because even the ending. I mean,
the rich people are great in this movie. Well, Donald Trump helped him find the lobby.
Yeah, too bad Culkin couldn't find his second term. Anyway, so
who knows? Maybe by the time you're listening to this,
it's been reversed.
The thing is, because like that was weird. Is like the owner of the toy store apparently buys the entire family gifts, and this family's already kind of rich.
I don't think he buys them. He just gives them stuff from his store, I'd assume.
Well, it's cool. Like they're staying at the Plaza Hotel, which is like a very expensive hotel.
They charge them for all the room service though. I was saying like that should have been for free.
You should dispute it with your card. Done.
I would have been like, it was technically stolen. I'd like to sue my kid.
Do it.
But so they wake up on Christmas morning. I know it's supposed to be heartwarming, and the store.
John was pissed during
the store owner is just like, but like I just told Drew, I was like, we just like the ending is like rich people get richer.
Yeah,
because like this family
and that not only does the family probably not deserve all that, but the kids definitely don't. They complained the entire movie,
but they missed Kevin.
All right, whatever. We're gonna play a quick game. here. We're not taking a break. We're just
playing a quick game on ROTS.
That's right. You said to.
Wow.
I asked you, like, what do you think we should do with the holiday stuff? You're like, you should make a game.
He asked what you're into, John, and you said games.
Let's do it, though. Let's do it.
You into
this
games?
Is new.
You into BDSM? This one's a pretty simple game. It's called Meet the McAllisters. Deli. No, Meet the McAllisters. What is going to happen is I'm going to write down a number, and this number is going to be fake. No, it's going to be a number, and the person...
You're going to get a sandwich.
So here's what I'm going to say. Andrew Evans... Hold on, let me write it down first. Andrew's evens or odds?
Like you're making this up.
Evens.
Evens?
Evens.
Oh, which means you got odd. Well, Andrew, it's even. I wrote down 8. Fair and square. And the reason why I asked you to pick a number is because in this game, Meet the McAllisters, y'alls will take... Y'alls are going to take... You will take turns naming members of the McAllister family from memory. But Andrew, because you got evens first, you can decide whether you want to go first or you want John to go first. But this will keep going until you run out. So, Andrew, you will say one, and then, John, it's your chance to stay alive by saying another name of McAllister. It goes back to Andrew, back and forth, back and forth. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess. This is going to be tough.
There are quite a few of them. Some of these people are from the first movie. So, that's if you need those names, those will count as well. But let me think. So, let me read. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 7 members of the main family. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 of the extended. Because remember, there's a part of another family that...
They all live together or something.
And then there are 3 others that are there as well.
I will go first.
Andrew has decided to go first, so...
Oh, wait. I could have claimed? Like...
No, I got the...
He said evens and got the evens.
I got it right.
So
I claim evens as well.
So, Andrew...
Kevin McAllister.
Ooh, okay. Andrew is on the board with Kevin.
Okay, so and then I say something?
Yeah.
And now it's your turn to say...
McAllister.
And just so you know, a loser will have to do something.
Fuller McAllister.
Fuller. Let me look on this list. Can this really be over this quick? Oh, there is a Fuller. Okay, cool. I was going to say, done. No, okay. So, Andrew, it is your turn now.
Buzz McAllister.
Buzz is probably the second most famous McAllister, and he is now off the board. We have Kevin, we have Fuller, we have Buzz McAllister. Listeners, please remain quiet. John?
Frank McAllister.
Frank McAllister, the uncle that lives with them, and who we see...
He's looking answers up.
Who we see taking a shower at this... Frank we see in the shower. John's texting Frank McAllister right now. Hey, who's in your family, bro? Andrew, it's your turn.
Peter McAllister.
Peter is the father of Kevin and Peter.
The father.
Father, your sister. All right, so we have Kevin, we have Fuller, we have Frank, we have Buzz, and we have Peter. John, who else is in the McAllister family?
You just looked some up.
No, I didn't. I really didn't. Diane. Is that correct? No.
I got him.
There is no Diane.
Yes, I win.
Where did you get that name? Although all of these names are very simple, so I would have guessed that too. Here is who is in the McAllister family. Peter and Kate are the parents. Of Kevin, Buzz, Megan, Linny, and Jeff.
We actually did better than I thought.
I know. I was telling Sophia, like, I would know Kevin and Buzz. Kevin and Buzz. I would have known that. Frank, the uncle, who is Peter's brother and lives in there as well with Leslie, his wife, and their kids are Tracy, Rod, Sandra, Brooke, and Fuller. And there is a third brother that they visit. In the first one, it's Rob and Georgette, and a daughter, Heather, and then 3 unnamed children. So you could have said unnamed.
Yeah, just like, I don't know. And then you're like, that's true.
Here is what the loser has to do. So, John, this is what you have to do. You are going to reenact the scene with me between Johnny and Gardenius. If you don't know who those people are, those are the characters in the fake movie. From Home Alone 2.
My Tommy gun dog.
Okay, so I'm Johnny, I guess?
Would you rather be Johnny or Gardenius?
I'll be Johnny.
Okay, cool. And so for any of you kids who are home alone, you can record this and play this to burglars.
Yeah, and they'll get scared.
And they'll get scared.
So I get to do my own take, or do I
Here we go. Ready?
You can do your own take. You don't have to do it the way, but I've just handed you the script. So please do not say anything off script. I spent so much time copying and pasting this.
Quiet on the set.
Oh, sorry.
I'm trying to figure out my take on this.
Okay.
Here we go.
This is going to be so funny because there's something here that I just read.
Really?
Yep.
Action.
Hold it right there.
It's me, Johnny.
I knew it was you. I could smell you getting off the elevator.
Gardenius, Johnny, your favorite.
Sorry. I thought you had told. You was here last night too, wasn't you?
I was singing at the Blue Monkey last night.
You was here, and you was smooching with my brother.
That's a dirty lie, Johnny.
Don't give me that. You've been smooching everybody. Snuffy, Al, Leo, Little Mo with the gimpy leg, Cheeks, Boney Bob, Cliff. I could go on forever, baby.
You have me all wrong.
All right, I believe you. But my Tommy gun don't.
Johnny, you're the only duck in my pond.
Get down on your knees and tell me you love me.
Oh. Baby, I'm over the moon for you.
You gotta do better than that.
If my love was an ocean, Lindy'd have to take 2 planes to get across it. Is that the Lindenberg? Wow. Lindy? Okay.
I feel like my accent is just like, or like whatever I'm doing is like.
I don't know what's happening.
John's doing like a mobster, like the penguin. Yeah, sure.
I know. I think it's
I know. I gotta stick with it. Maybe I'm off my hinges, but I believe you. That's why I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna give you to the count of 3 to get your lousy, lying, flower flushing carcass out my door. 1, 2.
Yeah,
3. Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
Bang.
And a Happy New Year.
Wow. Wonderful. Wonderful. That was pretty weird.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. I don't know why I went with like penguin. Like, you know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I think you did good.
Meredith Mergis or Burgess Meredith.
Well, so let's keep talking about Home Alone 2. No breaks. Yeah, pretty good movie. What are some other things that you can think of that you were really looking forward to, or what did you think about the bird lady being added into this movie? Because we talked about it a little bit, but I think it was to show kind of the selflessness and maybe the thing that Kevin learned from the first one. Because remember the old man that he thought was
the old scary man.
Santa.
Yeah. It was like a homeless, not a homeless. It was like a dude who shoveled.
Yeah, he had a house. He had his own house.
Shovel snow.
He shoveled snow, and Kevin, I guess,
he looked creepy. Like,
he looked creepy. But then Kevin became his friend at the end of Home Alone. But in this movie, it seems he's learned his lesson. It was like, hey, here's a homeless person in the park. Let me go talk to her. Mm-hmm. And we come to find out later, her birds saved the day. She attacks everyone. But what did you think about just the inclusion? Because that is a kind of a trope, I guess, of Home Alone.
Yeah, I think because I think it's coming from the point of view of a child. Like, you see something that you don't understand or that could be scary, but like once you once you kind of understand it, it's probably not so bad. I guess like it's kind of framed in that sense. I think I'm trying to figure out the actress's name.
So would you tell your child to
Brenda
not be scared of strangers, go up to them in the park, go hang out with old men?
I definitely wouldn't tell him to go into a cab with a dude like, who was like, the way that everything is framed in that sequence where it's trying to scare the shit out of him is kind of like horrifying. Like, you get like some sort of weird like strung out dude who's like speaking to himself, you
get hookers. You get
hookers, like an actual.
What did the hooker say? She was like, "Do you need someone to read you a bedtime story?"
And then just start like maniacal evil laughter. Brenda Fricker is Academy Award winning actress for My Left Foot. She plays the pigeon lady. I think she was awesome, because it's the human part of the movie. Like, it's the, you kind of, Kevin himself has a realization in kind of like giving this
homeless.
lesson.
He is homeless now.
He's homeless, yeah. And
homeless, aloneless.
And he wants to, that kind of like gives the drive, like that he kind of misses his family. Like, all this stuff, like, maybe now twice that this has happened to him. Like, he's like, maybe they're not that bad. You can only, Christmas is only as like, as good as the people around you are. So, I thought she was awesome. It's one of the more touching parts of this movie. And it brings it back full circle at the very end of the movie. Like, when he goes and visits her and gives her the turtle doves. She was great. So, and then she's been in other stuff too, which is, pretty awesome. She was in Angels in the Outfield, which I was trying to remember.
That's
where the fuck else. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And she's great actress. But, what were you doing? Like Like, is that one of the angels hollers when he picks up the baseball player?
No, that's from Dr. Strangelove when he's riding the bomb.
Yeah, she was awesome. Brenda Fricker. Fricker is the
what?
Brenda Fricker is the name of the actor.
Fricker, I barely know her.
Oh boy,
she was awesome.
I know we're talking about. She's a wonderful actress. Let's make fun of her last name.
No, she is cool. I like
that
her.
Doesn't save you, Andrew.
I like her crib in this movie. I was like, damn, I'd rather be homeless, dog. Like,
no, you don't.
I'm trying to. You see where she stays?
I know.
She just listens to badass music, put her to sleep.
She's got a bunch of pigeons to keep her.
That pigeon
company.
scene was 100% practical. Again, one of the things that make this movie feel like a 90s movie, they just threw birdseed on these actors and fucking do it. Bird.
Man, it's gone now.
I'm going to read some of the facts here and stop me if there's anything. I'm not going to read all of them. Guess how much Macaulay Culkin got paid for this movie?
It's like $4.5 million, right?
That's not fun if you know the answer. That's exactly the answer, John. This isn't movie trivia. Fuck. Yeah, he got paid $4.5 million, which in 1992 was like
a lot of fucking money.
More than that for sure.
That's probably like more than what fucking movies cost to make.
That's true.
I mean, not nowadays. That's like the
phone number given in the movie for the Plaza Hotel was the real number because that's, I guess, how it was back then. Now that shit would be online. The sequel. Do you know what the name of the sequel of the fake movie he's watching is? The first one was called Angels with Filthy Souls.
It's Angels with Filthier Souls.
Again, John with the right answer. Wow.
It was just on screen. It's literally on screen right now.
Oh, shit. Okay, yeah. Catherine O'Hara was worried that her character wasn't trying hard enough to find Kevin. And she was like, it's not believable. So they had to add in scenes so she could be guilty. And she said that she practiced on her guilty, sad face. So she could have, I don't know about that. That's a weird thing to have a backlash to. Because obviously this movie's already kind of
out there. Yeah.
Wow, I'm not like, we obviously know you're not the best at keeping track of.
Yeah, if it happened to you a second time.
Yeah.
So.
And they kept referencing it, especially when the police was like, has this happened before? And they were like,
we don't lose our luggage
annually.
Yeah.
And they were laughing, right?
Yeah, and then the police is like horrified.
John Candy was going to be in this movie. That would have definitely made it even more.
He's in the first one, yeah.
Yeah, that would have made it wonderful. Oh my God, I'm not going to read all
polka
this.
Twist.
Damn, it seems like you just got to a depressing one. Get
Also,
another fact.
Also,
another
it sounds
fact
like you're reading all of it because you just stopped talking.
All right, the last one I'll say is the movie was going to be called Alone Again. And
that sounds depressing.
Michael Jackson visited his friend Macaulay Culkin on set. Ooh, these facts are getting wild.
Yeah.
I'm not going to read any more in case anyone else. Jeffrey. Okay, but hey, nice. Did you have a favorite? Are we calling them pranks? What do they call them?
Hijinks.
Do you have any favorite tricks?
Trickery,
or I guess like booby traps in this movie?
You said booby. My favorite one has to be the electric one because it gets all cartoony at that point where he turns into a skeleton.
Oh yeah,
it fucking kills me
with hair, right?
Yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah,
it's the best. That's my favorite one.
Visually, it's like the one that, like, I guess the high point of this whole hijinks.
It's so fucking funny.
Yeah,
it's so good.
It's funny.
Well, and then like Stern is just so funny at like overacting or over like reacting with like the comedic Harry. He just gets into like a super high pitched voice, and it's the best.
His character in that movie. Him and the dynamics between Pesci and Stern is just at an all-time level. I'd love to have seen him in like 20 more movies because he is the one who always gets hurt.
They're in the Irishman together.
What? No, they're not.
Oddly enough, I like it when people fall. It's just really funny. Like,
Wow.
Harry, I've reached the top.
So you don't like the part in The Dark Knight when Alfred says, "Why do we fall?" You turn it off after 50 minutes
for comedy, and just like after that
to make John laugh, Master Wayne.
At that, there's a point where where Harry jumps on, played by Joe Pesci, jumps on a ladder and then slips right off, like because it's so slippery. Like I think that's like pretty effective.
They do really good in this movie to edge you up until because these
edge you with the tool chest.
These robbers think they've outsmarted. Remember, they're even learning. They're like, remember last time. But yeah, the tool chest part was like, what's that sound? And then it just gets louder. But that's like comedy. That's like perfect. Comedy timing and horror timing are so hard to pull off, but they're so similar to like get you to the ultimate. Either it's a haha or an ah.
Okay. The staple to the crotch was funny too because of how up close it was. Yeah, that's so good.
I mean, my favorite is still the brick because it happens first when Kevin McAllister throws the first brick.
And then it happens five more times
again. And then it happens and then the one who gets upset is Joe Pesci when he's like, if you think I'm going to have people throwing bricks at me, even though Homeboy is almost dead.
That's probably, the most unrealistic, little thing where we're calling them like attempted murder.
Yeah. Are we calling them attempted murders? I think that's
that one
fair.
Definitely it is because the bricks from that height will kill a person.
And so the first movie you were like, okay, that is self-defense. This time that's not self-defense. You learned.
Yeah, it's vigilantism.
Yes, it is. Yeah. You learned these grown men. Oh, okay. This is getting weird. You learned these two robbers, escaped convicts, I guess, to a secret place to kill them,
basically,
and then have birds attack them towards the end. But still really funny.
Yeah, definitely really funny. I think one of the another funny moment for me is the after because Kevin throws things attached to string. So like in the first one it was like paint cans, and then this one I think it's like a peller, like a piece of a post, a piece of of stairs that he ends up throwing down, and he cuts it. He cuts it to let it go so that it falls on them while they're on the ground. And like Joe Pesci has like a line. He's like, oh no, right before it hits, like in very comedic fashion, because you hear like this thing supposedly weighs a ton, and it's
oh my God,
it's hilarious. Yeah.
I think that this movie, you're right. He does always throw something with a string. And I wonder if that was like a conscious, what were the pranks that worked in the first movie,
and then add to them, or
add a little bit, or like subvert what you think was going to happen.
Yeah, but it still happened.
Yeah,
like, that's the thing. It's kind of weird because it's subverting what you think is going to happen, but the end result is the same.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I mean, we talked about the cast.
Sequels do that. That's a very sequel-y trope.
And I think and Columbus himself has made multiple sequels, so it's like he understands that push. That happens there too. But I also really enjoyed the fact that we had some other people fit the role of the people that Kevin has to fool. And I'm talking about the hotel staff: Tim Curry, Rob Schneider, and I don't know the actress's name who plays the kind of stern front desk lady who takes the card.
Let me see.
But she's in a bunch of things too. But those three are also really, really funny in just the way they interact with Kevin and how Kevin outsmarts them, baby. While you look up her name, what did y'all think about the things that, to me, that have aged? And I think I texted you this, John, but I was thinking, how did American Airlines agree to be in this? Oh, go ahead.
Dana Ivey.
Hold on. Breaking news. We've got a call. Go ahead, John.
It's Dana Ivey. She is a Tony Award nominee for a bunch of plays. She was in The Last Night of Ballyhoo, The Color Purple, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, The Addams Family, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, 2 Weeks Notice, Rush Hour 3, and The Help.
She's pretty good.
Solid resume.
I forgot about the Rush Hour 3 because she was in Rush Hour 3. We did do Rush Hour 3, remember?
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
This is her second.
Most unfortunate.
She was the nun in Rush Hour 3.
Rush Hour 3 sucks.
Yeah.
The thing I texted you was, how did American Airlines agree to be in this movie or pay to be in this movie? Because in this movie, the haphazard approach of them letting him on and just telling him to like pick a seat,
just like super reckless, like, you guys don't know what the fuck you're doing, and then Pan Am is on the New York skyline.
That's true. That building. There's a lot of things that I mean, obviously the biggest one is the hotel, and they let him stay there with a little voice recorder trick.
Yeah.
There's a lot of moments in this movie that really, really... But then again, you think it was the 90s. I probably could have done that if I was a kid.
I smoked cigarettes in the 90s, baby.
Whoa. What was the... Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was just thinking, like, again, like, I think it goes back to what I said earlier. And, like, I think I texted you. I was like, this 90s high concept, like, stuff where everything was like, what if a kid could take on two robbers, or what if what
if
if a dinosaur?
When kids were hard, bro, when we would just fucking go play outside and we didn't have to worry about getting kidnapped.
It was a very ridiculous concept that lends itself to a cinematic like storytelling.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask y'all, what's the most haphazard thing that y'all did as kids that probably would never happen now?
Oh, John straight up threw me off of a van. Like I'm talking like a huge van. Like he pushed me off. Just because.
Wow. And Andrew's actually almost broken my nose with a flashlight. So I guess
I used to get.
I think throwing off a van is crazy. I think anybody can accidentally hit somebody with a flashlight.
You didn't bleed because
I landed on my back. I'm glad.
I would always hop on golf carts. There was like a retirement community nearby, and my parents would let me. And maybe this was like 10 years old.
You would hitchhike on golf carts?
No, they would let me drive around in golf carts.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like,
see, I don't think
drive around and.
I don't know if we've ever done anything like that as like adventurous, other than like just some sibling hijinks.
For me, even walking now is weird. I used to walk to school every day, or I would walk to my friend's house, which would be like in 3 neighborhoods away. Yeah. I don't think that even happens. Like I don't think kids.
Yeah, hell no, because the whole world's all fucked up.
Yeah. Anyways,
crazy ass world.
That's why maybe this was all pretty believable.
I couldn't even walk like in my neighborhood back in the day.
John was bowlegged. He couldn't even walk.
Not that. It's just there was a stray dog problem in our neighborhood.
I can contest. They say yes, that's true. They would come at you.
Yeah, exactly. If you walked around,
I would walk to Ruben's house. But yeah, we would get chased by those dogs for sure.
You got to know like, oh, that's what Sophia, when she walked to school one day, got bit by a dog at like young, and then walked home, and then they took her to the hospital.
Oh wow! So she had the school day,
because who was around? Home. There's no cell phones or anything.
Exactly, bro. See, this is back then when kids were hard,
fucking hard. I walked to middle school every day, and I saw a stabbing.
And now look at me now.
Look at me now, bro. Look at these fucking thighs. These calves.
All the time.
Yeah, I'm a walker. All right. So now it's time to do something that we've been doing during these holiday films, and that is give the Spirit of Christmas award to someone.
Christmas?
Oh, what are we calling it?
Winter holiday?
The winter solstice.
The winter soldier
holiday.
The winter soldier happening.
I have to call our lawyers in HR to find out what we're going to call this. But for now, we'll call it. Who was the baby Jesus of this movie? No, who gets that Spirit of the Holidays awards in this movie? It looks like you're both thinking.
Oh, okay.
I'll go first.
Okay, Andrew, go ahead.
Cool.
I'm gonna say the Pigeon Lady. The Pigeon Lady she's the best.
Does she have a name? Or is it Pigeon Lady?
I think it's just called the Pigeon Lady.
Interesting.
I think her name is Ugo.
No, Pigeon Lady. It's an unnamed woman who lives in Central Park.
I'm just kidding. But no, yeah, she's really, really cool. And like, this is a don't judge a book by its cover type of thing.
Yeah.
And so you end up getting to she's kind of like a maternal figure away from the mom a little bit. Like she takes care of him. And like, you can tell that she hasn't had much of a, just a connection with any human and anything like that. Yeah. So it's really, really, sad, and like I think that might be it. Like had the love worked out, she would have had a kid, and he would have been this old type of thing or whatever, Yeah. And so it's really, really cool, and she ultimately helps him towards the end with the surprise Angry Birds attack.
That was a scene from a Hitchcock movie, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you know that those birds were the same birds that were used in The Birds? And what if you see like Big Bird run out of nowhere with a shank?
Could you imagine if she had taken him up to that orchestra thing, and then she was like, "Oh yeah," and then she pulled out like a grill and started eating one of the birds, like Chewbacca with like the porgs, and you're like, "Oh fuck!"
Or they're like feeding her, they're bringing her like hams to her mouth,
like a pizza.
It would have been like totally been like 180 there,
pizza rat or something weird. Or if she was like laying an egg.
Oh shit! Yeah, and so she's baby Jesus.
John, who's your baby Jesus?
I feel like it would also be the Pigeon Lady. I was trying to think.
Did you just pick the same thing?
No, you have to pick a different one.
Pick a different one.
You have to pick, because at the end of this, our listeners have to vote, and this can't be fraud election.
Max Shrek was the okay. It's cool. So like let
me tell you, Batman Returns, we picked Max Shrek, Alfred, and Ice Princess.
I picked Alfred, and now I'm picking the Pigeon Lady.
Wait a minute.
That's why I wanted to go first, because I thought you guys were going to pick the Pigeon Lady.
You know what? You're right, because John also picked
Max Shrek. Yeah, exactly.
No.
No, but now we have to pick a different one.
Okay, cool.
We at least, the three of us.
So in this case, I guess it'll be Kevin, because Kevin is very selfless in this one. After a while.
Yeah, no, he's a real douchebag in the beginning.
Yeah, in the beginning, he is kind of, his same old Kevin, kind of just,
I'm writing all this down, by the way, because I can't forget this later.
Kevin is so, he's just enjoying, rebellious and enjoying, the spoils of life by, going.
I wish I never had a family.
And then, and even when he's in New York, he's, ordering shit tons of room
Money,
service. And
this is how you know he's rich. He has no limit. Like, he's like, this is
not.
fine for me.
Exactly. Yeah. And then, because a credit card, it just buys things. It's like that young mentality where like, it's just a card.
See, that wouldn't happen in today's world either, because they would be like, hey, you just use your card over here in New York and you're in Florida.
Yeah. And so
right away it would have been like declined.
Declined.
Hopefully.
But I do say, he does go into, once he meets the pigeon lady and stuff, and even actually when he it's shades of whenever he meets Duncan, the toy store owner, he he starts becoming a little bit more of a selfless person. He actually, again, even though it is weird that he takes the law into his own hands, he is going to he goes after the robbers because they're going to basically hit the toy store, which
they're basically stealing Christmas Grinch style,
money from from these kids.
And the Grinch even pops up on this thing.
Huh?
Remember in the TV that he's watching?
Huh.
Oh, yeah, there's a
You're
Grinch.
a mean one.
That's funny. My pick for the spirit of the holidays, baby Jesus, Christmas is the only reason for the season award. I'm just kidding. Super Santa Savings Toyota-thon month is the owner of Duncan's Toy Chest. And I had to Google the name.
Duncan.
It's Elliot Fox E.F. Duncan. I was going to pick Sick Kid on the Window, but he really had no part.
And also, he didn't do anything, really. He just waved.
He's fighting.
I know. Oh, it's true.
That's true.
He's constantly fighting.
It's very true.
Very strong.
Even before the camera started rolling,
he was fighting.
Exactly.
But E.F. Duncan, I feel like, embodies the spirit of Christmas. He originally is the one who was going to donate a ton of things to the sick kids.
Instead, he just donates to the McAllister family.
Make the rich richer.
Yeah.
If they go through a rough weekend, they're going to need a lot of help.
A lot of toys, apparently.
But yeah, he's my pick. And again, we will let all of you, our listeners, vote on our, I don't know, Instagram? I don't know how this works. On a poll.
Set up a poll, yeah.
We will have a poll.
Don't believe those polls, though.
We will set up a poll, but they'll probably be wrong. Who knows? They're always wrong. But we'll set up a poll and then announce the winner of the Spirit of the Holidays Award. So again, the nominees are Pigeon Lady, Kevin McAllister. That was honestly easy pick. He's the main character of the movie.
Yeah.
And then Duncan.
There's not a lot of good people in this movie.
Yeah. A lot of bad people.
Right. But the Duncan ones, basically we picked out the three good people in this flick.
And
other than the cop was pretty appalled that
that the Florida cop, right?
Yeah, that the McAllisters left their kid twice.
Pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
But and we'll let you vote, and then if there's someone that we miss, you let us know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
Let us know. Well, it's time for us to give our final thoughts on this movie.
Final
Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. Is it New York or New York City?
It's New York.
Lost in New York. John, what are your final thoughts on Home Alone 2, Lost in New York?
This movie is about a kid who was lost in. No, I'm just playing. It's when rewatching it yesterday, it's kind of weird because we're recording this. Obviously, it's the beginning of November. It did kind of bring some Christmas vibes to the whole thing.
Even though it's 80 degrees outside right now.
Definitely, when you live in Texas, there's no such thing as winter.
Yeah,
apparently. But it's a nice watch, and I know that a lot of families watch it during the holidays, and it's for good reason. It's a heartwarming type of movie. It's got a bunch of it's got some comedy in it. I think of the two movies, I think the first one still kind of stands a little bit stronger, I guess, because it's the first time you're seeing it. This one's kind of a very typical sequel fashion, with repeated tropes and stuff like that. But great flick, I think I find myself watching it less than other Christmas movies, I guess. There are other movies that I would kind of choose to watch over this to get myself into the season. But it's one that you can't help but, it's not like you're going to turn away whenever it's on, in other words. So, great flick. Great Christmas flick. And I don't know, again, I guess this is like a trope. I was like, I don't know why you wouldn't have seen this if you're listening to this. But watch it if you've never seen it before.
It's really good. Andrew?
Yeah, what John said.
And I think
it is fun for the whole family, for sure. It's one of those movies that I think I will always want to show the next generation. I don't think it's something that might age as well if they were trying to reboot it or something like that. So it is kind of like a byproduct of its time, and so I think it's going to be one of those just overall fun and not too serious type of depressing,
It's the peak of the Home Alone franchise, technically.
Yeah. And so
and I think it's not the end. Never mind.
Well, and I think people are making like parodies. They want to do that Stoned Alone or whatever, where it was like some sort of
Reynolds,
like exactly. And so it's one of those things that really got the creative juices flowing for a lot of people, especially of our age who grew up with it and things like that. But I think it helps establish some of the Christmas movie tropes too. Planting the seeds and whatnot, but
the modern ones, right?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, because it's a long time ago now. We think it's not that long ago, but even then,
Yeah, but It's 30, a Wonderful Life is pretty Christmassy, and that's pretty
dark.
Yeah,
well, it's pretty dark too. Yeah.
Well, but yeah, that the fact that it's in that conversation is what's cool about it. Is that like you when you talk about Christmas, you talk about those types of movies.
Yeah.
And so really cool, and I can't wait to keep watching it forever.
We have listeners in New York, and I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but in my opinion, New York, biggest city in America. And there's no other place that celebrates Christmas like New York City.
Yeah,
a giant tree, I assume snow.
In this day and age, who knows?
Who knows? But that's this movie is an incredibly uplifting movie and fun movie. It's comedic, and it does the thing that every sequel does, which is repeat the things that work, but elevate it to not just another level, but hopefully a better level.
Right.
I know that there's quite a bit of suspended disbelief, especially as it ages, to the fact that, of course, a child could not get an apartment and run a tab. Can't even get on the damn plane without being on the on the manifest for that flight. But
too fat to fly. I'm just kidding.
Well, also, it seemed like the employees were just like, "Hey, fuck it, like we need to go now." Like
you could see them say "fuck it" in their minds.
The pilot is pissed.
We're a little bit late. This kid better get on board. Find a chair. Find whichever one he wants. But they tried. The writers of this movie. There's a guy with the same trench coat, and the sun followed, and he had. But I feel like at the time when this movie came out, it was not that far off base because 9/11 had it happen. Like security was a little bit more lax.
Yeah, that's true.
So it maybe could have happened, but even then, it's still very nostalgic. And I mean, there's nothing like Chris Columbus and his timing, not just for comedy, but just in general. And this movie has plenty of that. It's very well written. And I'm glad that it has the character of Kevin, played by probably one of the best child actors ever, does grow. Yeah. And you do see him do that in this movie. And he learned from the first one. The only ones that don't learn from the first one, those damn wet bandits.
They're sticky bandits in this one.
Sorry, the sticky bandits. They think they still can outsmart this damn Kevin McAllister, but you can't.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah. I guess Kevin's gonna make it to the 6th grade.
They thought they were safe in New York.
Yeah,
but Kevin will find your ass.
Yeah. One more last final thought on the filmmaking of this. The opening shot, the opening sequence where the family, where all the blocking, where it's like one shot and they're walking up and down the house.
Yeah.
It's very impressive.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about the slow zoom into the house in Home Alone.
No, it's I think in the the doorway or the main staircase. Like there's all the characters are being reintroduced because you know them from the first movie, but the camera is it's on one shot and it's kind of following one character pops up and walks off screen and then the camera. As soon as that character walks away, it's focusing on another character that's walking into frame, and then it moves with it.
Well choreographed,
really cool. Really well blocked and stuff.
And it's something that you're going to see in a lot of movies that are incredibly cinematic to set up the space, and you meet all the characters. James Wan used the same thing in Conjuring 2,
right,
and actually Conjuring 1. But it's brilliant, and I think that especially for this movie, where I think there's a documentary on Netflix about the first Home Alone movie. The Movies That Made Us might be the name of it.
Right.
or How We Made Movies or whatever.
The movies that made us.
Okay, but they go into how the set of the first movie was built on an old high school, and they had to build it that way and in a pool because they're going to flood some sections, and they needed to move cameras in and out of rooms in a way like they did in this movie.
And this was shot in New York.
Yeah,
like you can totally tell this is like shot in New York. I think I want to believe, and I don't know, I didn't do a whole lot of production, research on this, but like, I want to believe that some of these aren't even extras, like especially when they're walking.
They're people on the street?
Yeah, they're probably just people on the street, and they're probably used to, because, the challenges of trying to shut down New York for like a film shoot, even for probably like a couple of hours, is probably a nightmare.
Yeah, and unless you're shooting in the middle of the night or something, it's not something that's gonna happen. Well, let me talk a little. So this movie is incredibly successful. I can't say successful, but so there is a lot of other Home Alone films that came out after this.
Three
more, but the newest version is coming out soon
on Disney
Plus. It's with the director of Ali G, Borat, and Bruno. But I'm more excited, and I'm super excited, but I'm excited about Archie Yates being, I assume, Kevin McAllister's type character in this.
Oh, he's from Jojo Rabbit.
Archie Yates from Jojo Rabbit. Hello, Jojo.
He's really funny.
He's so funny.
He's like really, man, that dude's going to be a star.
He's going to kill it in this movie. Rob Delaney is in this film, so is Ellie Kemper. And Macaulay Culkin is returning to the Home Alone-verse in this film.
Are you sure? That sounds kind of
fake news, my dude.
People out here attacking me. But it's written by Mikey Day, who is on SNL, and Streeter Seidel, who worked on College Humor. But I'm excited. So we're going to see on Disney Plus, streaming wide, another Home Alone movie.
Probably in the very far future, since nothing is shooting right now.
They're going to use the volume, baby.
The Mandalorian thing?
Yeah.
That'll be exciting. Filming began in February of 2020.
And was suspended.
And was halted in March.
I knew it.
But yeah, we're excited. There'll be more Home Alone 2. Well, that comes to the end of this podcast, this holiday podcast. Ho, ho, ho. Thanks for joining us. John, what do you have to plug? Ho, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho.
Listen to all your Delphin Pod podcasts. Go to the Patreon website, patreon.com/DelphinPod, and sign up for some really cool exclusive stuff. Like movie trivia and, one-off episodes that you guys will obviously hear way before the public does. Stay. We're still in the middle of a pandemic. We keep saying that this is going to end like a couple of months later. It never does. It actually gets worse. Wear a mask, wash your hands, practice social distancing, and stay safe.
Andrew? Ho.
I'm the second ho. But yes, and so it's what John said for sure. Still in the middle of a pandemic, and I know it's the holiday seasons. Do your shopping online, I suppose, and be nice to each other. And we hope.
Call each other.
I think FaceTime and all that. Decorate, get into the spirits of that. Do stuff with the family on the inside. But also, I think we have a new president now, so in the States. So hopefully, this pandemic will be handled a little bit better.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
We are recording this just to kind of take you behind the wall. We're recording this on the day that major networks and really everyone who with a brain. No, you're right. True. Yeah. Have projected that Joe Biden will become the president.
46.
So, and to your point, they've already released their COVID plan. And on Monday, I believe the panel of experts are coming together to work out
task force.
A new one.
And so now we got a little bit of brains, baby.
But the sad thing about what you said is hopefully we have a new president, because it is a true hopefully. We don't know.
Yeah, it's still a hopefully thing. I mean, anyone
who knows?
Yeah, anyone who knows the situation can just Google. But yeah.
But hey, hopefully you're listening to this in 2040 and we're flying cars, baby. Marijuana's legal, baby. Listen to all your Delphin Pod shows. It's the holidays, so I echo what everyone says. We're watching these movies, and maybe you can too, with your family and friends. And if you're feeling generous, go to patreon.com. And why don't you donate to the pod?
Why don't you stuff our stocking?
If you want to know what to get us for Christmas, donate to the podcast, because we are still paying for all of the things we have to pay for to keep us going and virtual.
The virtual stuff. We took this is a special
In Your House edition.
Yeah, special In Your House edition.
That's what you say to that's how you pick up girls. Hey, you want to see the special In Your House edition?
In your
this is for
your
us.
box, in your meat box
trap.
Okay.
But yeah, that's so yes. But listen to all the shows. Hey, right now, Revenge of the Sequel, Countdown to Infinity.
The Countdown Strikes Back.
The Star Wars podcast is out. Dirt Sheet Radio is out.
Radio.
All of our shows are out gunning,
and then we might have a new one
in the Clouds,
coming right at you.
Yes, all of these shows.
Yeah, and a new one possibly
every day.
Make 7 or 8, I think. If you don't count
we are growing,
trivia.
baby. It's not cold outside no more. We growing.
We are growing and we're showing. All right, y'all. Have a good. I believe Black Friday is. Oh, it's already gone. Never mind. Bye.